Hi, I'm Erik from Nanigans, and this is the Playbook. Now, you've already gone through the process of determining what the best creative is for your audience, and you've already picked the most heavily targeted, perfect audience for which to deliver that creative. But how do you approach that audience within the online marketplace itself? Well, the most important thing to worry about when you're thinking about targeting that audience is the bid type and how that channel is going to serve that ad to that audience based on the bid type you've selected. Now, there are 4 basic bid types out there in the online marketplace, and we're going to frame each one of those in a real-world example that would make most sense for the use of that bid type. So let's say bid type number 1, which is CPM. You're an e-commerce company and you've got an audience of about 25,000 of your absolute best past purchasers from the past year, let's say. You want to do some remarketing to that audience, and you pick CPM for one reason, because you're telling the channel that you want impressions, and that's what you're going to be paying for, and ideally, that's what you're going to be receiving. When you serve that creative to that audience of 25,000 past purchasers, you're bidding on impressions and receiving impressions from nearly everybody within that audience. You have already defined them as a good audience, so why not show your ad to every single person within that group? Now, the next bid type is CPC. And if you're an EDU lead gen customer where you want to be able to drive as many leads as you possibly can, you may want to bid CPC. Why? Well, it makes sense to show your ad to as many of the people within that targeted audience as you possibly can. 500,000 people who live in the United States who like automotive, but that doesn't necessarily mean those people are actually going to click on an ad. But if you're bidding CPC, you're going to show your ads to a group of people within that targeted audience that have a greater propensity to actually click on the creative you've presented them. So CPC is a better option because you know you're going to be paying for clicks, and it's on the onus of the channel to deliver people who have a greater propensity to click in the first place. Now, let's go to the third bid type. Let's say you're a mobile gaming company, and you've got a lookalike audience of your past installers of like 2.5 million people. Now, your creative is probably amazing, and the targeting that you've done using a lookalike audience is pretty stellar, but you want to be able to drive people that have a greater propensity to actually install. Well, using oCPM or oCPC, one of the optimized bid types, that's going to allow you to receive impressions from a smaller portion of people that have a much greater propensity to install, as well as a speculative portion of those people that have installed in the past, but they may not install regularly every single time. That's going to allow you to scale up and experiment within that audience. You know you're going to get a lot of installers, you know you're going to get some installers, and you know you're going to get few installers all within the same audience. But at the very least, the unifying criteria amongst everybody within that specifically bid, that effective audience, is people who have installed in the past. Now the fourth bid type, probably the most refined of all the bid types, is CPA. Let's say you've launched a brand new website that focuses on sports news, let's say, and you want to drive as much acquisition as you possibly can that it's going to come in the form of a newsletter. You're basically looking for email addresses. Now, using the power of the advertising channel that you're advertising within, you have the ability to sort of focus on people that have a much greater propensity to register for a particular website, to actually provide that email address. So if you're bidding CPA, you can have a very large audience, maybe 2, 3, 5 million people. And if you're bidding CPA, your ads will only be shown to a much smaller subset of that population, those people that have shown that they are absolutely going to deliver their email address to you. Why? Well, it all leads back to how the marketplace that you're bidding within is going to make money. They only make money if they actually drive you an email address. They actually drive you a conversion. And just like all of the bid types we've talked about, the onus is on a combination of you with your targeting, but a little bit on the channel itself, because they have to drive you known clickers if you're bidding CPC. They have to drive you impressions if that's what you're looking for with CPM. They have to drive you known installers if you're bidding oCPM for install, and they absolutely have to drive you people who have a greater propensity to provide an email address if that's what you want to pay for and you're bidding CPA for that email address. Look, creative is important and targeting is unbelievably important when you're doing online user acquisition, but how you approach that audience can sometimes be just as important. And picking the right bid type for your campaign is the right way to do that. That's the buzzer. time's up. If you have a question you want answered on a future episode of The Playbook, send us an email, theplaybook@nanigans.com. I'm Erik Manser. Thanks for watching.